Dybala'S release clause is going to expire at midnight of the 31st of July. So count 60 seconds, well, look, 47, and it's done. Being a Roma fan means suffering, not just on the field, but we've also suffered on the transfer window. Because every day we woke up with the fear that some big club was going to trigger that clause, which was a very low clause, because for Italian teams, it was 12 million. And for foreign teams, it was around 20 million. It was a release clause which any team could have easily triggered. Any team who really wanted Dybala, out of all the teams which we've seen being listed and being rumoured to have contacted Dybala, realistically speaking, any of them could have simply gone like that and Dybala was theirs. What made them not do that is Dybala'S will, for two reasons. First will is to continue and promising himself to Mourinho. After that final in Budapest, not only Mourinho promised himself to the lads, but also the lads promised themselves to Mourinho. And Dybala, obviously being the biggest player in that team, was the first one to say, I am going to be here next season because I want to turn this defeat into a big dub. And the other reason is a love promise to the fans. The fans are the reason Dybala has kind of reborn after his last year at Juventus. This season has been a very successful season for Dybala. Both his goals and assists touched the double figure. Nobody was expecting it, seeing his fitness in his last year at Juventus. He came, it was a massive surprise for us. Everybody was buzzing. And look, we have one of the best players in the world. Despite his fitness not being the best, despite his age not being the youngest anymore, Dybala, in my opinion, is top 20 players in the world at time of speaking. And I'm also saying another thing. After Totti's retirement, Dybala is the most technical player and most fantastic, majestic player this team has had. And to keep him is like buying 3 different players, because he's something insane. We've seen it over the course of the entire season. We've seen it in these past friendly games. The team is linked to Dybala, maybe even too much. Maybe the team is too Dybala dependent. But that is what characterizes a champion from a football player. The team depending on yourself, depending on your magic tricks to win the game. And keeping Dybala has been something incredible, and fair play to him. Loyalty to him. I mean, you gotta give it to him. Dybala's a Champions League player, and we're not in the Champions League, and he decided to stay. Dybala deserves a smash up in this video because you can tell that he's fallen in love with not only the fans but the city and this team, and that played the big part in him acting as a levy to other offers. Because if Dybala didn't want to stay, he could have easily accepted those offers, and for those teams the 12 million release clause was literally nothing. So yeah, incredible that he's staying. Yet another season with Dybala. Release clause expired. Now it's time to speak about contract extension, because I'm going to say that as a Roma fan. I mean, Dybala's not in his prime anymore. Dybala's not in his young ages anymore. I mean, he's still young, but not in his youngies anymore. I'm going to say one thing. If I'm Dan Fredkin, if I'm Thiago Pinto, I give Dybala a life contract with this team, just like I would do with Mourinho. Give Mourinho and Dybala long life contracts, which will link them to this team until the day they retire. That's the dream, because he's deserved it. And maybe he doesn't want a life contract. But if there was ever a question in his mind going, do I have a chance staying here until the day I retire? The answer is yes. Give Dybala a life contract because of the player he is and because of what he's transmitted, not just to the field with his magic tricks, but to the entire Roma fan base. Now, obviously, his contract extension is close, as reported by Nicolo Schira and many other journalists, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. His release clause has expired, which is good, because now at least it means that we don't need to live with that, with that hesitant fear in our heart going, oh my God, somebody's going to buy Dybala now and trigger that release clause. At least that's not going to happen. But now we got to extend his contract. Dybala wants to wait. He wants to renew it, but he wants to wait. I mean, he wants to wait until September, which is the period that Roma normally sort out contracts. Because what is happening is that Dybala currently earns 3.8 million, bonuses included. Dybala wants a 6 million base salary plus bonuses. And he wants this because he knows that he's the center of this Roma project. He knows this because he knows that the fans love him and want him to stay. He also wants this increase in salary because he feels like he deserves it in terms of performances. And I fully agree with him. So in these days, Jorge Antun, which is his main agent, has been discussing with Thiago Pinto over a potential opportunity to increase his salary from a 3.2 base to a 6 million base, bonuses added. It's going to take a financial sacrifice, but we've understood that if we want champions in our team, we need to take financial sacrifices. And this is the step of becoming an even bigger team. If we want these champions to stay in our team, we got to put the money. And I know that I know the settlement agreement that we've signed with UEFA does kind of specifically link in also well with salaries. So we do have a few problems in terms of salaries. We can't reach a certain limit, we can't go over a certain limit of wages. And I know there are a lot of things in consideration, but it is also true that in 2/3 years, these settlement agreement rules, FFP sanctions will not be there anymore. Thank God. So it is also true that in 2 years' time, we have more money to spend in terms of players and in terms of salary. And I think we have to make this financial sacrifice. Another reason is I think the Fredkins will do this in terms of compromises. I think Dan Fredkin will go, I am ready to increase this salary because you are Paulo Dybala and you deserve to be the highest paid player in our team. But I need you to extend that contract and in the new contract not include any release clause. And I think that's the compromise which we will reach between the two boards, between us and the Paulo Dybala board and team. And obviously, to conclude this, does he get the 10? Does he not get the 10? I mean, I've said it. I think after Totti, he is the best technical player that we've had. And part of me wants to say yes, because Paulo Dybala is an incredible player. And look, I've watched yesterday's friendly game and I was like, oh, I mean, yes, I know it's against a very weak side, but Paulo Dybala's magic. And in my opinion, this is my opinion, if he wants that 10, Totti has said doesn't have problems in giving him the 10, he gets the 10. Obviously, with the 10, we would kind of handcuff him to Roma and maybe even favour him ending his career at Roma. I don't know. I'm not Dybala. I can't choose. Dybala's a humble lad and he will not choose the 10 as of now. But if he wants the 10, he gets the 10. Because if it wasn't for Dybala this season, we would not be in a Europa League. We would have not played a Europa League final. And I think he deserves us giving that love back by maybe giving him the 10. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like my lungs have slowly gotten back in position after months of suffering that somebody would trigger that release clause. The release clause has officially expired. It is currently the 31st of July. So the release clause has expired. Nobody can trigger that release clause. If they want him, they can still buy him, but they obviously need to follow Roma's offer now and not what the release clause says, because that release clause is gone. Paolo, if you're watching this, which you won't, but if you will, sign that contract until the day you die, because Roma loves you and you love Roma, and it's hard to find such an affection between a fan, a manager, a team, a player, and a stadium and a city. So if you haven't already, smash the like button for Paulo Dybala. He deserves it. I want 200 likes. It's for Paulo. Paulo's turned every bit down. Saudi, Chelsea, Man United, Inter to stay here with us. So 200 likes for Paulo Dybala. Subscribe if you're new. Good night. Take care. And I'm going to catch you there very soon. Simo out. Paulo, I love you.